Williams have launched their FW45, only the livery for now, not quite the full car yet, but we did get a chance to see both the drivers and also the brand new livery as well. So let's get into the car first of all and then talk about Williams ahead of the upcoming season. Here are the pictures that have been released of the 2023 livery. Now, to be fair, ahead of the launch, there was a lot of excitement and a lot of hype about obviously the brand new partnership with Golf and a lot of the creators that do kind of concept liveries. There were so many good kind of Williams Golf liveries, but yeah, unfortunately, not too much orange. We can see actually from the side profile view of the car that there is obviously the Golf logo on the rear wing, but yes, it is an evolution of last year's livery. There are some actually quite big changes that, some people might not have noticed. It's actually matte now in 2023 compared to just obviously metallic last year. Now, yes, some people have been disappointed that it's kind of more of an evolution, and to be fair, Williams are one of the teams that quite like to change their livery from year to year, and obviously, apart from when they had, say, Martini as their title sponsor, when they do have their own control, they don't mind changing it kind of from year to year. So yeah, it's quite rare to see Williams continue on with a livery that they had previously. Although some fans might feel frustrated that not too much has changed, we take actually a look at a picture of last year's livery in Abu Dhabi, so the final race of the season. You can actually see that by the end of the year, I mean, Williams basically didn't even have a livery left. I mean, they were one of the kind of biggest teams to get rid of as much paint as possible to kind of save weight. And so, yeah, there's a massive contrast between the livery that they started with and what they ended up with by the end of the season. And that's why last year, I wasn't a big fan of their livery kind of full stop across the season because, I mean, again, to me, looking at this picture of Nicholas Latifi in Abu Dhabi, that to me is just ridiculous. That is an ugly car. It's not a great livery because there's barely even a livery there. It's like half a livery. So yeah, luckily this year, hopefully they have and are going to stick with a bit more of a cohesive livery. There's kind of, especially around the side pods, there's kind of those sharp kind of light blue lines, so it just looks a bit more cohesive, and hopefully if they do keep it and not start chucking paint off the car, it will stay cohesive throughout the season. And I think that's something that's going to be really important. Looking at the front, again, it is mostly kind of similar to last year, a lot more black and exposed carbon fiber, as we've been seeing, as we saw of course with Haas as well. So yeah, a lot of the teams are kind of going for a more darker look because they want to save more paint, but as long as they don't get rid of it midway through the season, then that is absolutely fine. I think the combination of blue and black is a really nice one. On the sponsor front, there is actually a little bit of change there as well now. Obviously, with Nicholas Latifi departing from the team, Lavazza is gone with him. There are some new sponsors there as well. We have Stevens there just below the halo on the cockpit, and then also Pure Stream there right at the beginning of the floor as well. Obviously, the Golf sticker on that rear wing, which I actually think looks really, really nice. And I think my favorite, and a lot of the fans' favorite part of this car, the roll hoop and the airbox, the integration of that Duracell branding to make it almost look like a battery. I want to see a Duracell Williams. I want to see that title sponsorship because I want to see this car in gold and also in blue as well. Blue and gold is a great combination, and I am here for it. Make that your title partnership for 2024, please. Yeah, this year, it's a great livery to start with. I'm still not buzzing about it. I'm not sure about the 50 shades of blue, but I think it's better than it was last year, and yeah, definitely a good start. I'm not too mad at the fact that they've kind of continued on their livery from last year, but yeah, at the moment, I'd give this livery a solid 7 out of 10. Moving away from the livery, however, obviously this is just the 2022 car with the 2023 livery, which is totally fine, but we didn't get kind of too much more. Apparently there are some rumors that the car is going to hit the track for a filming session on February 14th, so yeah, hopefully we get kind of the first proper view of the brand new car on that day, so that should be really, really exciting. But in terms of Williams, setting the expectations low, and obviously this is kind of a brand new era for Williams, not only that James Vowles is coming in, but in a way, joking aside, I do think that kind of, Latifi leaving the team, James Vowles coming in, Alex Albon is now the #1 driver at that team, undoubtedly. We know that he can be a team leader. Again, in the launch, I thought there was a great kind of little interview by him just before his, proper interview with Will Buxton, where he just pointed out how hungry he is to succeed, especially given that he was out of Formula 1 in 2021. Logan Sargent obviously coming in as a rookie as well. Not too much expectations, I think, on Logan Sargent. I think there is a bit of pressure on him in terms of not necessarily that he needs to, like, you know, do a fantastic job, but he needs to be closer to Alex Albon than Latifi was last year. And that's going to be crucial, because the reason why I mentioned that Latifi leaving the team was kind of a significant and important, you know, thing for me anyway, in terms of like this brand new era of Williams, is that I always felt that, you know, Nicholas Latifi, obviously he wasn't quite good enough to be at Williams and in Formula 1, and for as long as he was there, although he was, you know, bringing money into the team, which is very, very important to keep Williams afloat, he was always capping the team in terms of like whatever car they would have given him. Even if they would have given Nicholas Latifi the Alpine, for example, he wouldn't have been near what Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, or what even Alex Albon would have been able to do in that car. So I think that's why it's important to kind of bring some fresh blood into the team. Obviously Logan Sargent, and I feel like with Logan, it's going to be very interesting to see how he goes, because he's had a bit of an up and down single-seater career. I mean, in Formula 3, this is the guy that took Oscar Piastri, the guy that everyone on the grid was, you know, fighting for last season in the midfield. He took Oscar Piastri to a title decider in Formula 3, and then unfortunately things didn't quite work out financially, so he had to kind of stay another year in Formula 3 and only made his Formula 2 debut last year. As a rookie, he did an okay job, but in kind of a relatively kind of weaker field, I would say. He didn't kind of, you know, blow everyone away. He definitely had some highlight performances. He obviously had some wins as well for Carlin, so he is definitely going to be a capable Grand Prix driver, but it's going to be interesting to see how it goes with him in Formula 1. Everyone who comes into Formula 1 has the talent. It's just all about managing the pressure and expectations. How are you going to perform getting used to these cars and getting the most out of these really complicated cars? Because, yeah, if you think Formula 3 and Formula 2 machinery is quick and complicated, you know, Formula 1 is a whole different level. So, yeah, all of those rookie caveats are going to apply. He's going to make mistakes. You know, he's going to have howlers, but hopefully he's going to be kind of closer to Albon over the course of the season and make the best use of hopefully a better car. Now, Alex was very tight-lipped on any expectations during the launch in terms of what the actual FW45 is going to be, what the expectations are, but he does, you know, he did say that it was faster, it feels faster, which of course he's going to say, but I thought it was interesting. Clearly the team feel that, you know, limiting expectations and kind of, you know, quieting down all of that noise is going to be very, very important. Now, the one person, of course, that we didn't see is James Vowles, the brand new team principal. He is only going to be in his position and going to start at Williams in 2 weeks' time because of the way things work with Mercedes, and obviously, technically, although it was an amicable split and Toto Wolff let him go, I think he is still technically contracted a little bit to Mercedes. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be when he obviously comes into the team. But I think realistic expectations for Williams, and James Vowles, I think, is the guy that's going to be really under pressure to kind of pick up from where Williams left off in 2022, because with whatever you want to make of the situation with Jos Capito leaving, and more importantly, FX de Maison, their technical director, I mean, I was super critical in terms of when those two kind of left or were pushed or, you know, whatever happened, who is the technical director that's currently leading the charge in terms of following their vision? I mean, the car was designed by FX de Maison and it's clearly going to be an evolution of last year's car, but when the man that kind of set out the vision is no longer there, you know, do you follow on his path? Who's going to be the brand new technical director? So yeah, I think that's going to be the number one thing at Williams, kind of setting out the plan of what is their future cars going to look like. Of course, this year is going to be an evolution of last year, but how quickly are they going to start to kind of take over in terms of what their ideas are for the future of this car? So all of these questions, I think, are going to be very important on a technical side, because ultimately, whoever comes in as the brand new technical director, they're picking up what the previous technical director kind of left off, and ultimately this car was at the back of the grid. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting juggling act in terms of how this new group of people are gonna develop a car that they didn't even kind of set out the vision for, and when they switch over to their vision of what they want in the future. So I'm very interested to see how the performance levels of Williams fluctuates throughout the season. And then James Vowles himself kind of, you know, said that the most important thing for Williams is setting out that culture, because this team has been a perennial kind of underperformer for year after year. I mean, 2017 with, I remember Lance Stroll coming in and scoring his first podium, Felipe Massa still doing a very solid job. that was the last season where I think Williams were respectable, to be brutally honest with you. I mean, after that, apart from 2021, where they still finished, at the bottom end of the field, they have finished last in the championship in every single season since 2018. So it's been not a great time for this kind of great team, and their greatness is wearing away. The Williams name, obviously, the Williams family don't even own the team anymore, and again, even with their brand new owners, Doralton, they are not a manufacturer like Mercedes or, even of course, Ford, or even an independent like Red Bull. They are a investment company, and ultimately they are looking to kind of raise, they bought the team at, X amount of cost, and they're looking to raise the amount that they can sell this for. Ultimately, they're buying this team as an investment. So how committed are they to this team? How committed are they to developing the facilities, hiring more staff, growing the team? I think that's going to be, that's going to be tested as well. So there's a lot of things at Williams. It's not going to be smooth sailing, and looking ahead at the season, anything but finishing in last place and kind of picking off those points just a little bit more. I think the level that they were last year wasn't actually kind of, they weren't completely off the back of the grid and kind of a complete back marker, not able to score points in any race. I mean, Alex Albon and even Nicholas Latifi, like on occasion, that car was able to score points. And if they can do that more regularly with a bit of a better car, kind of start challenging the likes, if I look at last year, just a bit more of the Alfa Romeo and the Haas and kind of be at their heels just a little bit more, maybe even overtake them, and, kind of not finish last, I think that would be a successful season ultimately for them, because it is going to be about building for the future, building that brand new culture under James Valves. How much Mercedes DNA can he inject into the team? I mean, I know there's been some talk of James Valves being a double agent for Mercedes at Williams, but ultimately, I almost want to say that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you can inject any of that Mercedes winning DNA into this, into Williams, who are at the back of the grid, that is not a bad thing in my opinion. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this team does in 2023. It is a team that I want to do well. Williams, I think, maybe not to newer fans because, the shine is wearing off this legendary name, but to me it still does, have that kind of emotional aspect in terms of how good this team was. I love Alex Albon. I think he's a great driver. I love him back in Formula 1, and I just want him to have a better car. I want to see him challenging in that midfield and kind of, rebuilding his reputation and maybe even challenging for podiums. I think that would be amazing. So I am rooting for Williams, but I also know that there is a very, very long way to go. But again, I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on this team. Anyway, there you have it. That is my quick preview of the Williams launch and also a preview of their upcoming season. Let me know what you think of their kind of brand new / altered livery for 2023, the matte look, the little subtle changes that they have made to the livery. If you did enjoy this video and want to support the channel, then don't forget to subscribe. That would be massively appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.